It's always good to have a Cardinals alum in the building, and that is Beau Hart. Played with the Redbirds in 2003 and 2004. And Beau, I'm sure you get the question all the time, but how often does somebody come up to you in Memphis or here in St. Louis and say, "Are you that Beau Hart?"
You know, it does happen often, and like I tell everybody, I get to relive the moments that I had here at Busch Stadium and in St. Louis, and I do enjoy telling the story.
412 was the batting average. I was looking at the numbers. I mean, they are crazy. In the first 7 or 8 games, it's a Ted Williams-type batting average. You rattle off a hit in your first 7 big league games. How do you stay out of your own head when you're in a situation like that, coming up into the show?
You know, I didn't know what to expect of myself or of the Major League pitching or whatever. I just went out and tried to see good pitches and take the advice I was getting from all the veterans and to try to put a good swing on it, and they were falling. I was a little bit lucky too.
Or were you looking at video then, 2003-04? That was kind of maybe when that stuff was starting, but was that at all part of what was happening when you came in?
There was a little bit, but not much. It was more word of mouth from the veterans on the team, and they were sharing their knowledge, and I was trying to apply it as best I could, and it worked out a little bit.
Obviously, you're working your whole life, your whole baseball career to get to that moment, but were you a little surprised maybe about just how hot of a start it was?
Of course. I had never been on a streak like that ever in my life at any level. To have that many hits, you know, and then to remember those first 10 games where a majority of them happened, yeah, it was. I was surprising myself.
You mentioned, I mean, you see the ball, hit the ball a little bit. You know, a fastball guy. That was where a lot of your success was. Was that all you sat on for a month there, basically?
I think so. You know, and then the pitchers made their adjustments and exposed some weaknesses, and then I had to make adjustments, and that's the back and forth game of baseball. But you know, I was trying to hit the first strike that I saw. That was straight, and just try to put a good swing on it.
You broke in at 26, which is young in the grand scheme, but in baseball, that's a little further advanced. What was that like in the minors, waiting for that opportunity? You're 25, 26, a 33rd rounder. Were you starting to think, is this something that I want to stick around for here, I guess?
You know, it's a good question. I really felt that I wasn't close to the big leagues, even in AAA. I think I was very surprised when I got called up. Even making your way up through A-ball, AA, into AAA, you're one step away, and I felt so far away. I didn't go, why am I not in the big leagues now? I was just developing as a hitter, maybe a little bit of a late bloomer, but you know, I was in the right place at the right time. I was doing well in the minors when they needed another player to come up, and I made the most of that opportunity.
03 was right on the doorstep of that 04, 05, 06 run, a World Series in there, a couple of pennants. So you were around a lot of really, really good baseball players. Who was the guy that maybe had the most impact on you in that clubhouse?
I think, well, Jim Edmonds and Scott Rowland were great off the field. On the field, I think, you know, I really liked how Scott played the game. He played the game right. I tried to emulate them, you know, even though you're in the big leagues and you know, your peers, you do try to learn from your teammates, especially the ones that have been around a long time. So I enjoyed being around them, and again, just tried to play the game right.
I read this, and I don't remember it, but confirm for me. 3rd at-bat at Busch Stadium, you got a standing ovation. Is that true? And tell us just about that moment and how it unfolded.
I think, yeah, I think I did. My first 2 hits, you know, I'm just running around the bases and not really kind of soaking it in, but I got a standing ovation going to the plate. I ended up striking out, and the fans were stayed on their feet. And even though I struck out and walked back to the dugout, they were still standing and clapping, and yeah, I'll never forget that moment.
I remember a sign one game. Somebody had one that said, "Beau stole my heart." And there was just so many signs like that, and people, I mean, you really were, we say it now still, just a cult favorite here in St. Louis. What's the fan memory that you remember all these years later of something you saw in the stands, something that happened at the mall, whatever it was?
You know, I really, the fans here in St. Louis appreciate the hustle, to play the game right, to play it hard-nosed, and to get dirty, and I was always that player, even not in the big leagues. And I think that the appreciation they showed here by cheering when I strike out or whatever, home run, doesn't matter. I think they just appreciated somebody who they could maybe identify with. You know, I'm not 6'5", 240. I'm, you know, 5'10", 175, and I think the fans enjoyed watching somebody they could relate to on the field.
That winter when you go back to Santa Cruz, what was that like? Because I can just imagine that people in your community were going nuts that summer. What was it like for you to go back?
Obviously, friends come out of the trees and off the beach. They want to show their appreciation and, hey, I remember when you got called up, that type of thing, and I appreciated those stories. But I didn't try to get too confident in the community that I lived in. I tried to just be myself and got a lot of encouragement. And they said, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep watching.
And then we'll finish on this. You've got two little ones running around now, young kids. Obviously weren't around when you were playing in the big leagues, but to be able to bring them back here on a day like this and show them this and allow them to see this part of your story, just what's that meant to you?
Yeah, it means everything to my wife, Lydia, and I, to bring Cruz and his little brother, Brock, to Busch Stadium and to see the fans and to share some of the behind-the-scenes kind of moments that they didn't get to when I was playing. It's nice that I get invited to show them a little bit what Cardinal Nation's all about.
He's Beau Hart. I'm Brett McMillan. He was here for a Budweiser Bash. If you want to find out about the great Cardinals alumni that come through, head on over to cardinals.com/budbash. That's all for right now here at the Insider Desk.